Merry Christmas, everyone. Sean here with B3, and in this video we are building presents. Just because everybody loves presents, whether it's Christmas or birthday or whatever. Presents are great. Anyways, we've got 6 different types of presents coming in a variety of sizes, and we've chosen a simpler building style which can be converted into many different colors. So don't stress if you don't have all the exact colors. You can always build with the colors that you do have. In this case, I personally chose dark red and yellow simply because during the building walkthrough, it's easier to see on the white background. For today will be me showing you the present that we're going to work on, then laying out all the pieces and building it from there. Well, let's start with the big one because, well, why not? So here it is. As you can see, we've got bricks on the bottom, a mixture of plates and tiles on top. So here are the pieces that you're going to need. Over here on the left we have the bricks that'll be on the bottom. Down here's the middle sort of core plates. And then the plates and tiles here on the right, along with the bows and the letter. Those will go on top. But for all these presents we'll start with the middle pieces. So I'm going to take these middle pieces here. And these ones are nice and simple, so they just stack right on top of each other. And then we'll work on the top. So now that we've set the lines where our ribbons are going to go, we're going to make it 2 plates high, so that in the end it's kind of like an entire brick high. So yeah, just keep in mind, for a bunch of this stuff, we're going to want our ribbon stripes to be matching on top and bottom. Now that we've finished with our top ribbons, it's time to do sort of like the underlying wrapping paper bits in the dark red, and it's basically the same kind of thing. You're just doing the double plates and then ending with the tiles to fill in these spaces and have the corners of the box broken free. Now, I've chosen to put the stud on this like 2x2 tile, modified tile. You could have done it on any of these corners, like the jumper there in dark red or a yellow jumper, just to have a stud available so that you can put the letter on afterwards. It doesn't really matter where it is as long as it's not too close to the flower or the ribbon bow. And that's basically the top. I'm going to save the bow and the card for last, so let's work on the bottom. Now it's really important that we get these stripes continuing so you don't have some, the ribbon's got to be continuous as it's wrapping around the package. So when I stick these bottom bricks on, we just want to make sure that it's going around in the exact same plane and line. So yeah, we'll put that 1x4 on first, and then we'll fill it in with this 1x2 brick and the 1x1 brick. And then double check our ribbon lines. And it looks good, so we can fill it out with the red. Now that the bottom's completed, we can finally do the top. So let's put this little ribbon together, just a little 1x1 round on the flower, sink that in there, and then it's nice how the flower edges flush right up against those tiles, and then lastly put the letter on. And we've completed our first present. Only a few more to go, and then we'll have a nice variety to put around a Christmas tree. Now remember, it's really important that you know that you can build these kind of out of any colors, so just swap out the yellow pieces for, say, blue pieces, and then the dark red ones for white, and then you'll have a completely different type of vibe of present. You can do this with white and green, or really any color that you can think of that you've got the variety of in your LEGO collection of these pieces. So take a look at the pieces that are laid out and see if you can switch them around. But let's move on to the next present. So this is kind of like a medium height, medium length one. I like it. Just seems sort of nice and symmetrical in general. And these are the pieces you'll need for it. Over here on the left, we've got the bricks. I just want to point, these are bricks on the bottom here. That'll just give us extra space. I put some tiles on the top. There's the middle pieces, tiles, and then plates and tiles on the right. But we're going to start with this middle section. And notice how I'm sort of staggering these, kind of like bricks. Like you see how, we want to have the structure, the middle part being really structurally stable. So we're going to offset them just a little bit so that they overlap to create that 5 long, 3 wide bit and have a nice strength to it before we work on the top. So that's the middle core, and now we can begin on the top part. Here we are, we're going to situate those ribbon stripes. Now this one is not going to have the net height of an entire brick, so it's just going to be the plate with the tiles on top, because ultimately you need 1 plate and 1 tile to give you that flush thing with the ribbon and the flower at the top for the depth for the stem to sink down into the present. There's our jumper plate. We're going to stick the letter on in the end, and now we can fill the rest with dark red here. Now that we've finished the top, we can work on the bottom. So these are bricks. It's a little, this has the horizontal, sort of horizon band of ribbon sitting a little bit higher, just to make it different than some of the other presents. You've got the top being symmetrical and the cross-section sort of profile look being asymmetrical, which I kind of like. So we're going to fill that up with red, and then we'll be able to do the final touches with the bow and card. And once again, remember that you can do this with a multitude of colors, so be experimental, be creative, see what works best with your collection and the pieces that you have. Let's take a look at this little cube guy and build him next. That'll be fun. Set the pieces up with the bricks on the left, at the center core in the middle, and the tiles and plates on top on the right. So again, we'll start with the centerpiece. We're going to have it overlapped like we did the last time, just for that extra strength. And we've basically built the core. Now we're just going to stick the plates on for the top, followed by the tile in the exact same pattern as we put it, just so that the ribbons match as it stretches across the package. Now that we've finished the top, we can do the bottom really quick. Now I'm going to take this 1x3 brick and I'm going to have it stretching across the 2 plates just for extra strength. Anytime you have a brick or a plate or a piece that's, is there for show, but has the option of stretching over a crack for extra strength, we always want to just try to do that for stability. So we'll fill these corners in with some dark red, And we're ready for the bow. This one doesn't have a letter because none of those tiles on top could be switched with plates without getting in the way too much. But now that we've finished this one, let's take a look at it in some other colors before moving on to the next. Alright, so we're going to build the same thing. Oh, no, just kidding. This one's almost the same thing, except it's much taller. It's a super tall present. So basically the same thing, except we're going to add a couple bricks on the bottom. So the bottom core is going to be slightly different. Here are the pieces you'll need. Here's your tiles and plates on the top. We don't have another letter. Here's the center core. And then a bunch of 1x1 bricks. So just keep in mind that this present specifically takes a bunch of 1x bricks. Now we're just going to do the same sort of core that we did last time, overlapping it for structural strength, and build the core, do the top, and then fill the bottom with a whole bunch of bricks. Now that we've done the top, we can work on the bottom. So we're going to start with this sort of center core. It's going to be a cross-section of like a plus sign going 3 bricks deep. So we're going to do that for strength, fill it up with 1x1s, and then do the final row just for that bottom ribbon core. Now, the one thing I'll mention as I'm building this sort of plus sign, or extra long D-pad if you're a gamer, is that there are ways of making this with Technic 1x1 bricks. So they've got the pinhole in them, and then a modified sort of snot brick with the stud on the side, and doing that in a spiral to really give the strength on these last final pieces that I'm assembling right now. These little sticks of 3 bricks. 1 by deep. They sort of they don't want to fall off, but if they get any sort of pressure pushing them in one direction or the other, they can pop off the present easy. And if you take the very bottom brick layer of this present and modify those pieces with 1x1 snot bricks, modified bricks with the stud on the side, or Technic 1x1 bricks, then you can get a really tight strength on that very final bottom layer. But I chose not to for this video just because it limits us yet again on, that's right, color. So keep in mind that you always just want to make a whole bunch of different colors of these, because presents come in all shapes and sizes and colors. Ooh, the dreaded present box shape. I don't know of anything magical or special that goes in this. It's always a t-shirt or pants or clothes of some kind. I mean, maybe if you're into that, but it's never going to be like a gaming console or video games or... Anyway, so here we go. This one's going to be a little different. This one only has plates and tiles. The center core has a special build to it with that... angled before we stick that on there, just so that the flower can sink deeper. So this is as shallow as the boxes can come, essentially. So yeah, it's possible to make them a little bit shallow, 1 plate shallower, but this is how we're going to do this one. set it up like that. The 2x6 plate, 1x6, and then we're going to do the 4. And follow that up with, you know, so we're offsetting it just as if that 2x4 was a 2x6 plate, but then we're going to have to modify the top 4 studs of it with this angled 1x3 plate. Now we can do the top. Now the only reason that this far right dark red band is those 2 pieces is so that I can put the letter on there. You can do this in any sort of way, shape, or form. You can use yellow jumpers, you can use yellow plates with 3 long yellow tile instead. It's just make one of those tiles have a stud. Now we can work on the bottom. The bottom of this guy is quite simple just because there's no stacking involved. It's just one thin plate layer to have the ribbon just dip a little bit below when you're looking at a profile view. And then we can do the flower. I keep calling it a flower, but it's a ribbon. The flower piece used as a ribbon, NPU. Nice piece of usage. Anyway, so that is the final sweater box. The dreaded sweater box present shape. And yes, sweaters come in many different shapes, sizes, and colors, and from many different gifters. Now, sweaters are awesome. Please treasure and value your sweaters and stay warm this holiday season, and don't bash the sweaters. Next, we're going to do this guy. He's symmetrical from the side and asymmetrical on top, so he adds a nice variety to our collection. These are the pieces you'll need for him. Again, we've got the center core here, the tiles and plates on the right, and then the tiles double plates on the left. So I did that I could have used bricks, but I wanted it to have a special height. So let's start with the core like we have on all the other ones. And there's our jumper plate for this present. Again, it could be the yellow jumper, or I guess that's the only option for that present is yellow jumper or red jumper, it doesn't matter. Now the bottom, we're going to have that stretching across. Okay, it's just for the extra strength to cover that crack. And again, these could have been bricks. It would make it one plate higher, but that I felt like was a little too similar to one of the other presents in height, only changing the length of the present. So I wanted it to have 2 plates instead, just to give it a little bit, the slightest touch of a difference between it and another present that we've already made. Here also we could have done a 1x4 plate instead of instead of the plates that we've chosen here. So 1x4 going down the center with the 1x1 plates on either side. But I figured, if we're already pulling out certain kind of pieces, we might as well just use the same ones. But for extra strength, that would have been a better choice. Lastly, we will tack on the ribbon bow and the letter. And that's it. That's our final present that we're going to walk through for today. That gives us a total of 6. There are many more options, but we just wanted to have a nice variety for today for this sort of good length video. And now we get to the fun part where we get to see them in their clusters. So here is the batch of the dark red and yellows. I think this is one of my favorites. I'm not sure which one completely is my favorite. But I do like this one a lot. I think on the white background this one helps. But yeah, let's start adding in some of these other guys. The blue and white ones. We've got some white and green ones. Some blue and red ones that I want to incorporate in here. yeah, stick these around a Christmas tree, and kind of setting them up has its own sort of little art form in and of itself. They kind of grow. Presents under a Christmas tree kind of grow like flowers do in a garden, in little clusters, but one species kind of slightly mixing with another, and you just kind of want to mix them, but not too much, because all these green and white ones are from grandma, and all these blue and white ones are from like your brother or whatever. So just sort of incorporate them a little bit, slight mixing, but not too much, and then prop them up in different ways. I think some of these sweater boxes should be vertical, just to, I don't know, make it look like there's different kinds of boxes instead of just having lots. Yeah, we'll stick this one vertically like this. That'll make it look more fun. Gotta get some angles in there. They're not all sitting on the ground. Some of them are propped up like they just fell there or something. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching this video with us. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season. Thanks for building presents with us. I hope you have fun either giving them away or sticking them around your Christmas winter village. And yeah, we will see you guys next time.